is Beast versus Dandy. A target ban already thrown there, but Beast has shown that he can deal with Jarvan better than any other LPL jungler.
Yeah, so curious to see how the draft does work out. So we are into champ stack for game one. Vici on the blue side, Snake over on the red. The new ban, just like you mentioned, and Nara, of course, going to hit the bin as well.
Yeah, taking that one away from Carry, just a very, very solid weapon. And wow, actually Jarvan being taken away from Beast. So they're going completely away from the AD carry bans. They're just hitting the jungle so hard.
Yeah, we've seen this a lot where junglers tend to get hit. The top 3 jungle pools, Rek'Sai's also been banned out on the side of Snake. This happens if Lee Sin gets a result or if he's an early pick, the jungle pool gets pretty thin, but if anyone has shown some depth, it's probably Beast.
Yeah, it certainly is. He has been able to pick out some pocket picks in there. I would be surprised if Lee Sin followed. Dandy is a good Lee Sin player, so leaving that one up is fine. Dandy can also play Rengar, of course. So there are still some picks here available, but that top tier is starting to fall away.
Yeah, it looks pretty thin. A very smart Xerath ban there by Vici as well. So targeting Baka, who might look to a 0, maybe have to go for another champion. And when he's not been on Xerath especially, he has looked a little bit weaker.
Yeah, he certainly has looked like that is his most comfortable champion. He's kind of like a really fantastic mid laner on Xerath, and then a pretty good mid laner on a couple other picks. Azir is one of them that you mentioned. Right here, I'm interested to see whether they let the Tristana go through and they just counterpick it straight away with the Draven. We've seen that Crystal is very comfortable with that matchup, and boy, would it be exciting to watch.
Yeah, I like the last ban there for Snake as well. They have gone with Cassidy, a very strong champion, but that leaves Janna, that leaves Lissandra, that leaves Tristana, like you mentioned as well, and of course Lee Sin as well at the top of those jungle picks. So lots of options here for Vici, but they're only going to get one of them.
Yeah, Thresh as well for Mata coming through. We can't look past the Rumble. That's a fantastic pick. Worthwhile noting that Kassadin is a mid lane target ban against the Tong plays mid Kassadin extremely well in these series. So wouldn't be surprised if they went with the Rumble. Doesn't really give much away, but it does kind of give Flandre a free lane in the top.
Yeah, and that's potentially dangerous to do. We're seeing more teams start to adapt to Rumble, which is the first pick here for carry. It's been very popular in the LPL, but you can definitely get aggressive and target it out a little bit.
Yeah, you certainly can, and it looks like Janna going to be the response for Ella here. So looking to maybe if the Mata does go towards that Thresh, good disengage comes through. We'll be able to heal his team back up, and wow, that is a lot of priority being placed on Azir this early in a draft.
Yeah, they actually hovered the Lee Sin for a while. That would have been a great pick away from Dandy, but instead really want Baka to be the comfort champion, so pick up the Azir and the Janna for themselves. I love the Janna pick. Ella's fantastic on that champion, and it takes away Mata's best champion arguably as well, so lots of strong drafting on the red side from Snake.
Yeah, it certainly does, and we'll be interested to see what kind of composition Vici are looking to put together here, because with that already, Snake have said that they have fantastic disengage. You can't look past the Azir Emperor's Divide that comes through, the Monsoon. They throw a Lee Sin on top of that. That is very hard to dive on top of, and I really like the Lissandra pickup for that reason.
Oh, against Janna, of course, yeah. That's the thing about Lissandra, which is picked here by Vici. Annie actually as well, so going to be Mata's support there. But yeah, when you have good engage, Janna doesn't really do a job as well.
Yeah, certainly not. And it's because you're just able to get through there and get the Glacial Tomb onto the Janna or someone else, and then they get stuck there, so you can't kite back through the Monsoon. You're really caught in between a hard area. Locking in the Annie for Mata as well. Very small health pool on Azir. He's one of the squishiest mages in the game. Very high damage consistently through the fight, but if he gets flashed and gate on by Mata, it has got the potential to be blown off, especially if a Tong take one of his assassins into the mid lane.
Yeah, be curious to see what they want to go here, but Snake are hovering some pretty interesting picks, and that's
a Kog'Maw.
A Kog'Maw and an Olaf. There you go, analyst. Enjoy.
Yeah, so Olaf very good at diving backlines. It doesn't get caught up by a lot of the CC that's coming out of Vici. Kog'Maw just a bad pick here because there's an Annie and a Lissandra that will just get on top of him and absolutely make his life hell. So we've seen if anyone can do it, it's got to be Crystal. If they run it like a double Mikhail's QSS comp or something like that, wow, they're actually hovering by as well. They are looking to get on top of Crystal.
I mean, Crystal the Butcher's looked fantastic. He has killed so many people in his first 4 weeks of LPL and looking to do the same here as well. This also shakes up the standings potentially as well. Snake are very high up right now, and Vici are kind of looking to get further in towards the top 5. So both teams really want their points here, as always in the LPL. And that's an interesting pick from Crystal, but they answer with Vi in the jungle there as well, and the Kalista as well.
Yeah, so I agree with the Vi a lot. Kalista and Annie have great synergy coming through with that ultimate into the Tivers. So they have a good CC coming through from nearly every member. A lot of lockdown on top of that Rumble equalizer. Really good mid-game curve as well. Really good.
Andre is thinking about things.
Yeah, I like the Black Shield here. I don't necessarily like the Morg Rumble matchup in the top lane. It gives Rumble a lot of answers to what is a weak laning phase. Morgana can't really bully him around, but it will help Crystal get through, and this will be a very 1-carry, 2-carry composition coming through from Snake.
I mean, Snake have had some pretty solid plans. The drafting end has been a bit on and off, but when they've played together as a team, they've at least done everything their comp could when they've had their picks to make sure it works. And they put a lot of faith in Crystal's Draven and Crystal in general as a player. And again, he's going to be on a hyper carry here in Cogmore. He needs to carry once more.
Yeah, and I'm really hesitant to give this draft over to Vici. I would normally, just because they have fantastic team fight, AoE, they've got the works, actually. But then you look over to exactly what Snake were able to do to IG in a very similar matchup, and starting to have flashbacks. So I want to see if one more time Snake are able to pull it together for this one.
And I think probably one of the centerpieces of the comp that Snake have put together here has to be that Olaf in the jungle.
Yeah, it certainly does, because what that means is that Olaf won't get CC'd and tied down, and will be able to seriously pose a threat to a couple of the squishy members. I'm looking at Callista's area. She's bouncing backwards, throwing things at Olaf, who will go pure tank in the jungle. Won't be dealing the damage needs to on the back line. And you got to say, if they don't blow up this Cogmore, Crystal will go completely nuts.
Yeah, Suits Beast as well. He can get aggressive with this champion also and fight the other jungler if he wants to. We talk about him being very good at dismantling Jarvans. He could potentially disrupt Dandy's Vi as well.
Yeah, certainly could. And I guess that's another thing that we have to hit on, being able to dodge out the Vault Breaker with the Ghost and the extra move speed to be able to chase down. It means if Dandy ever overcommits in a gank or in the jungle, he will just be a sitting duck.
Yeah, it's kind of a sick gank in the top lane there as well with Morgana Soul Shackles. Like, Olaf's really good at ganking longer lanes, but let's find out what happens. We'll get into the game. And welcome onto the Rift here, Vici versus Snake here in their first best of 2 here of the weekend. Big points on the line here for both teams here. Vici on the blue side, Snake over on the red, and Crystal has got himself on another hyper carry, but it's not the Tristana that was left open spawn. It is, in fact, Cogmore.
Yeah, so both carries actually ignoring that one. Vasily going for the Callista, but Cogmore, the old school hyper carry with the mixed damage that comes off damage, percentage health, just absolutely wrecks people. Has a very good item path as well in that Trinity Force into Blade of the Ruin King generally we see at the moment. You can throw an Infinity Edge in there if you want to do insane amount of damage, but scales well off his Q, gets some attack speed. So yeah, look for him to go pretty big.
And it's one of those things where we actually should take a little bit of a look at Cogmore because he hasn't seen play in a while. And you're right, the build changed from so long ago to back in the very early seasons with Madreds and then moving through with early Blade builds. Like, Cogmore's gone through a lot of changes as a carry, but his current build, at least from what we know with the Trinity Force moving into Blade, much smoother power curve for him, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, it's actually an awesome curve because it gives him a lot of tools with the Phage to be able to continually auto-attack in the W that has no mana cost now. And Sheen procs with W and Ultimate are actually really underrated in a laning phase. They nail people so hard. So in short little bursty trades, which seems to be the response against Callista, look for him to get some work done once he has those 2 items.
Yeah, we talk about spell weaving with carries like Corki. Cogmore, very similar flavor with the Trinity Force as well. So Crystal, we've talked him up pretty much all week and weekend. We'll see if he can get it done here on another unconventional choice. But Vici will start over on the blue side of their jungle. It looks like the red side, though, for Snake.
Yeah, so both junglers starting on the top side of the map, getting helped out from their respective top laners. Looks like a camp will actually be picked up for Vici, so they'll have an earlier level 2 if they want to give it over, or a good experience lead. And no push coming out from Snake, so they're not going to capitalize on this whatsoever.
I mean, they might already think that the lane's probably unfavorable, especially in the early stages, so just want to try and freeze it further back if they can. Ella's even playing pretty defensively there in that brush, and interestingly, Spawn, we are going to have standard lanes.
Yeah, very standard lanes coming through, and we've seen that already. Callistas deal with this very well, able to hop through once they get that level 2 and get a lot of work done. Can't underestimate the power of the Annie auto attack either, and there it goes.
Yeah, good level 2 there as well. Martin maybe going to line up a stun. Ella does shield himself, but Vasily just going to poke back and forth, and good lane dominance early here for Vici.
Yeah, zoning them completely out of experience range, and that's what you want to do when you get the early level 2. Vasily and Mata playing this perfectly.
Yeah, not too surprising, especially with a player like Mata who's so good at directing his ADs, but Vasily has actually looked quite impressive in the LPL. He's had a bit of up and down games. He had kind of a tragic game against EDG early on in the split, but so far so good here for Vasily. Vasily.
Yeah, and it's fantastic to see Vasily do well because he was kind of the question mark on the team. They said that with Dandy and Mata, they kind of were looking to get a solid AD, and people looked over Vasily a lot for his time in North America, but he definitely has come over and played a very integral role for his team.
Yeah, we saw Beast there just recalling back and pick up a very quick blade there as well. So jungle item online. He destroyed that jungle, by the way. He's already do double buffs.
Yeah, he is so quick in the early game because of how his passive works. Getting low on health increases that attack speed, and then you throw your W in there for even more. The problem is that sometimes you do have to choose between whether you gank with your Q or whether you farm your jungle extremely hard. So it looks like he's gone that Chilling Smite. He wants to get in lanes early, but means that he won't be able to, I guess, put that jungle on cooldown, really power up to a late game Olaf.
Yeah, and I suppose Dandy on the other side also gone back for the early recall and got himself a Trailblazer, so much more farm-oriented there.
Yeah, it's really important to be able to get level 6. I think people are ganking in the mid lane.
Good gank there coming through. That's a great snare up, and Baka could be in trouble. Going to force to flash out. Iku's out of the way, but great pressure, Dandy.
Yeah, really good burns. Both summoner spells from Baka, so that will mean a repeat gank. And I was about to mention, Vi's pre-6 ganks are actually really good. People underestimate the damage of the Vault Breaker. You max the gap closer first, so she does so much upfront damage.
Yeah, you can kind of sneak in and flash Vault Breaker as well. That only works once. That's sort of the thing with Vi. You don't get many opportunities pre-6, but you're right. Vault Breaker, when it lands, is a fantastic CC tool.
Yeah, it certainly is, and wouldn't be surprised that when this lane pushes back to see maybe Dandy come around from the side this time, behind the turret, to go for that flash Vault Breaker.
Yeah, down the bottom, Ella as well defending off of Vasily, but Crystal's taking so much damage. Mata as well getting low. Pops the Molten Shield though, and the CS lead's actually not that big. Crystal's done a very good job staying safe.
Yeah, he's done a great job CSing. They've actually put a lot of damage down onto Mata, blown all of his potions. Generally not a good idea to harass the support because they just bring so many health potions to lane as opposed to an AD carry, but doing a good job of chunking Mata out early.
Yeah, Crystal making great use of his W there as well, just to make sure he can farm wherever it's safe. But he's continuing to power through his jungle though as well, so looking very strong, really powering through actually at 23 to 16 CS, and carry versus Flandre in the top. Magona actually super even.
Yeah, really even matchup just because they're very similar. They both use one ability to push out the lane and harass at the same time, so you have to make the decision. Unless you land a miracle bind, not really much going on there. Dandy actually trying to get some deep wards into the jungle of Snake, recognizing that Beast is putting this jungle on cooldown. He's done 2 complete clears with backs both times.
Yeah, and Beast is getting very strong. And a lot of these champions actually trying to get to level 60. It's going to be a very volatile first dragon fight with the amount of strong ultimates, especially on the Vici side.
And look at the emphasis Beast is putting on map control. He dropped a pink ward, it got cleared out, and now he's gone back, picked up another pink and a green ward. So not using this early farm to complete any selfish item, just looking to get control of the map for his team, trying to control Dandy.
Yeah, Dandy has sensed a ward though now as well. We talk about how Beast is so good at controlling other junglers, but can he control Dandy? That's a big question because this guy's also pretty good at jungling.
Yeah, he's a very good jungler in his own right. Dandy, of course, coming through from the Samsung team, and he's being able to keep up in farm because he's picked up the Trailblazer, has a very quick clear time himself, does a lot of AoE damage coming through, and Beast might have caught out Hatong, no, just passes, strangers in the night, nothing happening there.
Yeah, Hatong level 6 already, so we have to be careful of that ultimate coming out from Lissandra. Mata down the bottom with his stun ready to go. Vasily just powering through the creep waves now, really just wants the hard push, and seems like they're going to go shopping.
Yeah, it looks like they want to go back. Very smart move, actually, because it means that they will be able to maybe pick up a BF sword or maybe even a bow, depending on how they want to build this one. But getting a shop in before, I'll talk about that in a second. Getting a shop in before level 6, really important with an Annie because you want to turn it into a kill lane when Tibbers is available.
Yeah, and of course, build all the Cutlass up now there as well, so it looks like Blade of the Ruin King early up for Vici.
Yeah, this is my favorite build that comes out of Kalista. You go Blade of the Ruin King into Hurricane, then into Bloodthirster, and you have so much sustain. Being able to survive the initial damage means that you can hop around the team fight. You have double, I guess, vamp items, and that's just so key in keeping yourself healthy.
Yep, scales with Hurricane Nasty as well, and Kalista already pretty slippy as an AD carry. Great build to make sure she survives it. If you're still alive as an AD carry, you're probably still doing the most damage. So Mata now going to keep roaming through now on his Annie, getting some wards down. Vici might be setting up for their first dragon.
Yeah, it certainly looks like that's the idea behind there. Get a pick with Mata. Be able to, I guess, turn that into an early objective and snowball from there. They do it so well with vision control. That's what we compliment them on the most. Just touching a little bit more on the build path also gives some much needed vamp in lane against what will be a very pokey Kog'Maw. We've already spoken about the Kog'Maw build, but being able to lifesteal back up will mean that he doesn't get punished as hard for the Sheen that's come out.
Yeah, and the Sheen, as you mentioned, has come through now. So Crystal going to have a few more aggressive options, especially when he first pops the W in lane. But Mata still looking for that ward vision. Level 5.5, not quite 6 yet. Ultimates coming out almost across the board. Just Ella and Crystal on Snake's side without theirs, and just Mata on the Vici side. So again, things are going to get very hairy very quickly, especially now that Atong has picked up the blue buff about 20 seconds ago.
Yeah, he certainly has, and it looks like they're donating. Barker's across now, so all ultimates available. Teleport actually burn in the top lane, so they won't be joining. That probably is in Snake's advantage because just how big Carry's ultimate will be with that early haunting guys. So really, this game is teetered on a knife point right now. Both teams have got very good curves at the moment, probably in the favor of Vici, and they need to make sure that they don't waste it.
Yeah, we kind of look down the lanes here, checking the CS. It's basically even in all of lanes. Crystal's falling behind a little bit now, with Vasily able to pressure the turret a little bit more aggressively. Mata still playing very far forward in this lane, but Kog'Maw's done a very good job to keep the lane this close, and the other lanes are very close as well. So if we are going to have a 4v4 for our first Dragon fight with those top teleports down, who do you think has an edge there in that first little fight?
I think in the first little fight, it actually goes to Vici because of the combo that comes through from Tibbers as well as the Assault and Battery. Just will be able to single out someone and destroy them, particularly maybe in Ella to stop the disengage. So look for that to go in their favor. In saying that, if a good teleport comes through from Flandre and he beats Carry to the fight, Morgana with farm does ridiculous damage up to level 9.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. We haven't seen Morgana's farm that much recently. She's usually a support, has been so for maybe a season and a half or maybe longer. So Flandre, we've seen him play this Morgana. He does like to go to it every now and then. But you're right, when you have damage, especially in the mid game with all the flat AP you get, you do a surprising amount of damage still.
You do, yeah, so much. And the more binds you can throw out, you generally only have to chuck 3 or 4 points into that pool to be able to clear out the back minion waves, and you can start maxing the bind. Bind has such a ridiculously huge hitbox and chunks people out. Couple that with the ultimate and the double proc that can come through. Really dangerous as a top laner.
Yeah, and so Baka here looking good as well in the mid lane. Picked up his blue buff now, so Hatong going to play a little bit further back now. But Baka playing very safe on his Azir. And Morel Nomicons, for both these mid laners. Haunting guy's done for Carry as well. We've got some very strong early items coming through for both sides.
Yeah, we certainly do. And I guess on the junglers, both going the double longswords, they've invested a lot in both areas to get their mid laners vision control. On the top side, it belongs to Dandy at the moment. Bottom side belongs to Beast, but very patient play. Both teams happy to scale up, and you would have to think the longer this goes, the more it benefits Crystal's Kog'Maw, because he's going to scale fantastically, not only with items, but when he hits level 9, that W does a lot of damage by itself.
Yeah, and a lot like Tristana when we talk about her as a carry, though. Mata looks to be going in here. Have to be a bit careful. Crystal, though, spacing very nicely there in the bottom lane, will be safe. Much like Tristo, Kog really does need his levels as well as his items.
Yeah, he certainly does. And
yeah, Beast very low, though. Does actually get the 1v1 onto Dandy with the Olaf now. Hatong looking in, and that's the ulti pop for Beast, I think. Maybe the Ghost as well. Hatong now going to go back in, look for the Frozen Tomb. He's going to try and find it, but Baka's going in as well. There's a good exhaust coming through as well. Beast will get ulti, but it doesn't do too much damage. Baka, they're going to move him back with the ulti. Beast will just live, maybe. No, not through the Ignite, but a 2-for-1 trade for Snake.
Yeah, 2-for-1 in the end. Carry late in the rotation. Equalizer was used earlier, so wasn't available for that scuffle in the jungle, and you think that that would have been... Wow.
Crystal in trouble there as well. Good stun coming through, but that's a dead Kog'Maw. Going to move in and try and get a gobble CS with the passive, but Vici bottom lane now ahead.
Yeah, definitely ahead. The kill went over to Mata, but that's a support Annie. Probably not too bad just because of how much damage Annie can get in if she finishes off that early Frost Queen's claim, but it's just such a potent kill lane. Really relies on Ella to be able to keep her AD carry alive and just not able to do so.
Yeah, Ella uses the exhaust as well. You can see the bottom lane gold. About 600-700 up there for Vasily now versus Crystal. So Kog'Maw, who was keeping it relatively even, has fallen pretty criminally far behind in CS now.
Yeah, it certainly has. It looked like it was a flash tip as it came through to get that all started up with the re-engage from Vasily. So really nicely played. We mentioned that it's a kill lane. They got the early shop in that they wanted to, and they've done a great effort. Really big props to Carry to equalize out farm as well in this lane. He's actually ahead by quite a fair margin because he's going to pick up this whole minion wave before having to back as well, and that's just really well done.
Yeah, Vasili's picked up his Blade of the Ruin King now as well, so looking to get even more aggressive in the bottom lane if he wants. These two teams, by the way, being very patient on their first Dragon. Dandy going to find Beast this time, but he pops the Ragnarok, going to try and run out, but Dandy doing actually a lot of damage, and that will be enough for the kill. Flashes forward for the last auto.
Yeah, able to pick that one up. Looked like Marta had it secured anyway, and this might mean that they rotate into an early Dragon.
Yeah, they're going to go for it here. I mean, Vici were looking for an opportunity.
Teleport in behind bot lane.
Yeah, actually, Carry going to come through down now as well. Stella does, with a good tornado, keep it okay. Flandre coming down as well. That equalizer trying to cut off Crystal, but Crystal might just stand here and fight with the rest of his team. He's going in, but Vasili is hopping around everywhere. The Black Shield not enough, and Flandre going to get locked up there by Annie as well without that item. There's another kill there as Johnny gets blown up by Lissandra, and 2 free kills for Vici means another free Dragon.
Yeah, great early play coming out from Vici. Once again, just able to get some kill pressure in the bottom lane. Really good teleport. We said that if Flandre gets an early teleport, we'll put it in his team's favor, but Carry able to get in there first. Fantastic equalizer, cut off the escape route. Doesn't even look like they're going for Dragon, actually, respecting the Soul Shackles coming through.
Very patient play there for Vici, but why not play safe? They've already got a fairly strong lead of 2,000 gold nice and early in this game, and as long as they don't play too passive moving in towards the next section of this game, Crystal's not going to power up so quickly that they can't defend here. So I like it from Vici. They're being very conservative, and at this stage of the game, that's totally fine.
Yeah, I agree, and it's also maybe because of where this Azir is sitting. I just noticed that an early Stinger has been picked up, and that's a lot of mid-game damage coming through from Baka with a couple of those Sand Soldiers. Looks like in response they will be able to pick up this Dragon for themselves. It has been started up, and Azir, much like Cassiopeia, can't be underestimated how much early game damage he does to neutral objectives.
No, he just does so much standing DPS. If he's allowed to sit there and attack with Sand Soldier, this is what happens. Beast basically walks in as a formality. Did use his smite, but Ella gets the Dragon, and Snake will be very happy for that early win.
Yeah, they certainly will be. So they're behind a little bit in gold, but they're able to pick up the first Dragon, and that goes so well with the raw stats that comes out of both Morgana as well as the mid Azir. So sitting pretty, not as useful for Crystal at this point in the game because Trinity Force is more about, I guess, the passives that come off the item, but still a nice pickup.
And the thing with Dragon as well that makes it kind of tricky to quantify is that, you can only, the third Dragon's great, everyone talks about that, but you can only get the third one if you have 2 already. So just getting the first one and moving into the rest of them is also can't be underestimated.
Yeah, it certainly can't be, and a really nice rotation coming out here now. Baka actually going into the top lane, looking to bully out this Rumble, who is a melee, will do extremely well, and Flandre will be perfectly fine in the mid lane. That's just because he was starting to fall a little bit further behind. Doesn't have his teleport available, so a good rotation.
I was actually sort of hoping for this lane swap potentially at the start of the game, but I like the adaptation from Snake to get it done now, especially now that, as you said, Buck is going to be very happy in the top lane.
Yeah, he's just going to be able to bully out the melee laner, and I guess this just becomes a shove fest back and forward. Flandre and Hotong aren't really going to do much to each other just because of the ultimate and the E react very similar, but it looks like, once again, Vici want to force. They've got some good vision control in the other side of the map, and Mata moving into the top lane.
Yeah, top lane as well. The tower's going to go down there. Baka and Beast teaming up and able to melt that structure there between the Olaf and Azir. We talked about Azir standing DPS. You can't leave structures alone like that.
Yeah, certainly not. His W does ridiculous amount of damage to structures. Looks like a dive might be coming through though, so Flandre needs to be careful.
Yeah, Flandre really doesn't want to get ulted by Dandy, even with the Black Shield here, and that tower pretty much has to be seeded here. They might look to go in after for some exit kills. Flandre going to line up a binding. Does go to Hotong for the knockup, but Flandre now going to pop his ulti actually, and the Black Shield forced to flash out though, and a bit of a wasted cooldown there by Flandre.
Yeah, ulti onto one person and then chose to flash away. He could have probably flashed in, got it on another 2 members and maybe turned that fight, but choosing not to in the end, valuing the CS onto the Cogmore, who's now just been able to pick up the Trinity Force, so not looking to force anything.
Yeah, and things smooth out a lot more now for Crystal, and even Ella leaving, getting a little bit more solo experience is so valuable as well. Pretty much every level up to 16, I think, is so important for Cogmore.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we're actually taking a quick look at the gold. 1,300 for Vasili, so his team about 2,000 gold in ahead, and a lot of that is resting on the AD carry. He's 35 CS ahead and doing great.
Yeah, 3-man gank on to Carry. The good axe there from Beast. He's going to run in for more damage. Carry going to pop the Flame Spitter and try and go in. A good equalizer, but Flandre walks through it with the Black Shield there, and Baka gets the kill.
Yeah, important to give it over to the Azir. He scales up so nicely with items, and it's just impossible to outrun a Ghost Olaf in the top lane. It's just So important to be able to hit the first axe, but after that, it's just a formality of chasing him down.
Yeah, Warrior Enchant doing work there as well for those axes. Vasily does get knocked to there. Ella trying to protect it. Vasily will pop his ulti. Mata looking for the knockup. Flashes forward. Ella, though, does get caught up. Her tongs here now as well. And no way for Ella to get out of all that CC.
Yeah, use a lot of resources on Mata only with the flash and the ultimate, but everyone else able to keep pretty much everything up, and that's an important pickup. Keeping the bottom lane down, keeping Vasily rolling.
Yeah, and keep Crystal, down as well. He's playing another hyper carry here. They know how strong he is on these hyper carries. He's played Draven before, had the option here, wanted to pick Kog'Maw instead. And if they can keep doing this, Snake are actually very good at doing this to teams where they pick on someone, but Vici are absolutely picking on Crystal now.
Yeah, they certainly are. And the interesting thing is it really isn't through the Vi pick so far, only being involved in one of the 6 kills. It really is this mid Lissandra and Hotong having a fantastic game. 2-1 and 2, getting around, impacting the map. I really like his item build as well, going for that early Abyssal, shredding through the negligible MR that's on the map already, and he's going to be doing nearly true damage to some members.
Yeah, it helps a bit with the wave clear as well, but I think the one thing that Vici are showing us with how they're playing this early game is that they're really trying to win it around the 30-minute mark. If this game goes too long, not only are they going to fall behind just for Snake scaling in general compositionally, but the item builds here are very aggressive.
Yeah, they certainly are. They're going for a big mid-game focus, complete penetration coming out of the Rumble. We'll see a third item, actually Void Staff, it looks like, coming through, unless he's just trying to grab as much raw AP as he can with the money. And that build that has actually come out of Vasily, extremely greedy, going for pure single target attack speed. So not going to have the Hurricane to get the rend-ons at multiple people, really looking to bully in lane.
Yeah, trying to apply more pressure as well for the wave clears. Mata will find a couple of wards here. They'll have a battle over the pink ward. Snake will win for now. Mata, though, we should be able to clear it out with Hatong in the area also. And Vici doing a very good job of getting forward vision. Actually, that's a good hold on to Ella, who did flash, but Hatong will happily trade cooldowns there. Vasily going to come in now as well. And Crystal's got to be so careful. Actually fighting decently with his W up here, but Vasily lifestealing pretty comfortably as well.
Yeah, if Kog'Maw hits his Q at this point in the game, he probably still wins the trade. Q with the Sheen proc just does so much damage. Vasily needs to be careful.
Yeah, really strong slow there as well by Crystal using that Voidoo. So Vasily will back away from the bottom. And now Snake are trying to get their territory back, it seems like there. And Flandre is at level 12 for himself on Morgor. So kind of low on items here. Morellonomicon, Lucidity Boots. Blue will go to Baka. And Flandre, okay here on Morgana, but would like a bit more flat AP, I think.
Yeah, he certainly would. He's gone for the double Duran's ring for a little bit more mid-game's power as well. Baka actually going very aggressive.
Yeah, actually looking to chase down Dandy, it seems like, through his own jungle there. Dandy will get out, though. The red buff is potentially under threat as well. Ella will pull it away. Beast might look to take it here. Baka going to join in for the damage also. Crystal's very far away from this fight if Vici go in, but Snake are just going to steal away the buff. Nice pressure.
Yeah, top lane is still being pressured by carry whilst all this is going on. They set up very early for this dragon. It's still 5 seconds away. Means that they'll get a free shop on Rumble, and he'll be able to turn up with that teleport.
Yep, so carry level 12 now is also rank 2 ulti ready to go. Snake looking to start this dragon as it spawns, though, and we'll go in for it. So remember the damage here. Mata, they're going to get aggressive. Dandy coming in as well. The telly already in for Carton. Now Crystal going to get dove in with a Vi ulti. Black Shield, though, might keep him safe. Carry gets the first kill right in the backlands as well. But a great ulti there from Baka. Vasily, though, gets onto Jana, and he's just diving through the team. At Song, they got a double W as well. And 4-0 Vici. Make it 5.
Wow, that was absolutely huge. Hotong cleaned up that fight. 5-1 and 2. Triple kill coming through. Why would you fight a Rumble Lissandra around a Dragon entrance? That was a horrible move from Snake, and the game might have just turned there. 11-3, 6,000 gold. Let's take another look at it. So Beast goes super aggressive, but the teleport in, fantastic equalizer, chunks out Ella, chunks out Beast, and just watch Hatong come in over the wall. 3-man ultimate, 3-man Q, 3-man W. Beautiful play.
Yeah, just hitting everything. They're getting right in the face, and Vici claim another tower for themselves as well. So Snake really on the back foot now. Look at that gold pile up as well. 7,000 gold and counting up for Vici. And we talked about their comp being very mid-game focused, but this is one hell of a mid-game.
Yeah, it certainly is, and they've gone the mid-game build. They've got double Abyssal Scepters coming through, so it was actually another Abyssal Scepter, and wow, Leandry's finished up at this point. This Rumble is absolutely huge, and the danger of giving Rumble a free lane where he can farm is being on display right now. Carry is nearly untouchable.
Yeah, and Rumble, you saw in that last fight, not just use the equalizer to split Janna out, so Ella couldn't help with the ulti to disengage people off Crystal, but just when he gets in the face of people, doesn't really need the zonies. He's really strong right now already. If he gets up to people on Flame Spitters, then they die so swiftly.
Yeah, it certainly does, and we see that the Zhonya's Hourglass nearly finished off for Hotong now, so he's nearly a 3-item at 22 minutes, Lissandra. We've seen so many Lissandra bans just because of her ability to win this game, and it looks like this time around, Vici with the heavy CC comp are going to be able to best the hyper carries coming through.
I mean, it's a very bold pick from Crystal to play Kog'Maw just into Lissandra, let alone the fact that Vi was still open as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and they proved that they could do it once with a little bit more of a support-orientated comp. This time taking the Olaf and Beast, he's had some moments, but hasn't looked the usual Beast that we've seen.
No, just hasn't been able to fight Dandy maybe more than he'd like. Couldn't keep the Vi down. Both junglers actually basically free-farmed a 6 here. And Dandy didn't need his ulti for ganks, but he was able to get to his ultimate, get tanky here. The trick with Vi also that if you're not tanky, it's usually bad news, but he's fine right now with a cow plus the Giant's Belt.
Yeah, it certainly is. I think that they also tunneled a little bit on keeping Crystal safe here and didn't take into account that he was going to have a weaker laning phase against the Annie Callista. They've forced Flandre into nearly a support top laner, and he just hasn't had the impact he would have liked. 20 CS down. 0-1-1, not really having a great Flandre game. Hasn't gone those home guards boots. Hasn't really been able to impact with his teleport either. Yeah,
and just kind of sat here, as you said, being much more of a support mid laner. I mean, the cooldown boots to me almost signal that, hey, Flandre, you're kind of just a binding bot.
Yeah, he certainly is. Bindings and black shields. He wants to keep Crystal from getting Vi ultimated, and then he wants to be able to, I guess, tie up one person, unless he gets a fantastic Soul Shackle with his build that he's gone. And even if he does, he blows up so quickly.
Yeah, and Crystal, he doesn't even have enough items right now to hard carry for his team. So Snake are going to have to buy a lot of time in this game if they want to keep it going. And Vici are already 8k ahead with a Dragon claim for themselves as well. So Snake are going to be forced very far back towards their tier 2 turrets and pretty soon towards their base as well.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. I think the one thing we do have to point in on is if one jungler can stall extremely well, it is Olaf. Maxes that Q, great wave clear coming out of all of the members actually on Snake. So they can definitely stall. In saying that, if you want a dive composition, throw Vi and Lissandra in there. They're probably not caring about turrets.
Yeah, and Lissandra is kind of interesting. I know we talk a lot about gap closers being that, you know, most champions are good at going forwards or backwards, but not both. Lissandra, I feel like, is best when she's going forwards.
Oh, she definitely is. She's got one of the hardest initiates, and it's just impossible to escape. You throw the fact that she's got a stasis item and a stasis ultimate on top of that, and even if she's great at dive and she's great at anti-dive. Really has a lot of answers around the map, whether you're in front or behind.
Yeah, just make sure you get in the right spot because she's pretty short range. But Hotong so far has played fantastically in this team fights. Pretty much won that dragon fight by himself with a little help from the ulti by carry as well. So Vici looking good, looking together as well. Vasily even going maybe a little bit more insurance series, but going for Infinity Edge third now.
Yeah, so maybe mixing this one up, recognizing that everyone else is committed very heavy to this mid game, so if something does go wrong, he needs to be there in the late game. So I definitely think that Infinity Edge at this point, he is very far ahead. We'll be able to scale up nicely. He's a full item clear of the Kog'Maw at this point, so why not? If you think that there is an opportunity to get greedy in your build, you can definitely do that.
And I think maybe to demonstrate just how far ahead Vici go, we can look at the supports briefly. Ella likely working on the first Mikhails here for Snake, which will help Crystal quite a bit. But we seem to have problems for Hotong actually, in towards the bottom side of the map. Yeah, we go with Hotong actually Flandre there. Forced to flash up. Flandre actually looking for the 1v1, but Hotong will be able to glacial path out of the way. And it was just off screen, but Flandre basically just caught him in a binding, and that's what happens when Morgana binds do catch people.
Yeah, interesting interaction there. Flandre actually ulted him, and then Hotong ulted himself, and it didn't last long enough for the second proc of the Soul Shackle to come through. So very nicely played from Flandre. He definitely has some items in his own respect, and as I mentioned, if he gets a 5-man Morgana ultimate off, it's still going to do good things. So he is one of the keys to victory here for Snake.
Yeah, I think Bakra is all powering up. Also, just finished a Rabadon's Death Cap. I love the Aegis done quickly here for Beast as well. So things are coming together here for Snake, but they're, again, just a little too far behind right now. The next Dragon back up in 40 seconds. And what I wanted to mention earlier, look at Marta's inventory. I think that's the makings of a Talisman and a Righteous Glory.
Yeah, it certainly is at the same time. So Marta recognizing he needs to be a little bit tankier, so going for the, I guess, Catalyst of the Protector, getting very greedy in his build. But Talisman, that's a key item if there is ever one. Getting him in there, being able to start up these team fights.
I mean, Marta's not going for... Mikhails did help Vasily. He just wants the rest of his team to get him. Vasily, you can handle it on your own.
Yeah, he certainly can. And at this point, Beast isn't really that much of a threat to Vasily because of that Blade of the Ruined King. and he's finished up the Infinity Edge, so probably going to shred through extremely quickly.
Yeah, lack of armor and or health going to be a bit problematic there for Olaf, so Beast also needs to power a bit if he wants to be the big frontline tank for his team. And Snake really are playing a one tank team comp here as well.
Yeah, they certainly are. More using the defensive abilities coming out from their people like Flandre to be able to keep them safe. Looks like Dragon will fall to Vici, and I like the, if we just touch back on Baka's build, I like the Death Cap pickup. You would maybe say, okay, he has no defensive items now. He's very, very squishy and prone, but if the game is going to turn, it needs to be through raw damage. So they need to, I guess, throw caution to the wind here. They're not going to win by being defensive, probably not going to be able to stall out for that long, so they need to make every cent count.
Yeah, the flat AP kind of okay for a bit of extra wave clear as well, but Vici looking to kind of knock down the rest of these turrets here. Beast maybe looking to go in onto a facility. Actually smites him. Beast can throw out some more zoning axes here. It's all Dandy with his ultimate at the ready. Also, the Grump will get stolen away. No steal there for Crystal. But Snake are actually looking to get aggressive here potentially, but it seems like they'll back away.
Yeah, they were just looking to see what they could get there, poking out with Beast and Flandre. In the end, nothing much happening, so they're just going to put some farm onto their AD carry. And I guess at this point, now that they've finished up the Trinity Force one item, it looks like it will actually be an Infinity Edge coming out and a lot of crit for Cogmore. Once again, going all in, no defensive stats, want to make sure that they have some damage extremely quickly.
When we talked about it already, Crystal needs to hard carry this game if his team's going to win. They've picked around him. He's gotten a very squishy late game hyper carry here. Good axe there from Beast to spot them off, but Hatong almost went in on top of Flandre potentially there as well. And Vici now have complete vision around the Baron.
Yeah, they've started to really shut Snake out of objectives through the map by just good vision control. They're going to look to, I guess, rotate in and pick up their own buffs, but after that, they can go bait Baron. Dragon's still not up for another about 4 minutes, so they don't have any cares about the bottom side of the map, so they've moved their line of pink wards up to the top.
Yeah, we'll see what Vici want to do. I like the Hitong Mercury shreds there as well, realizing that he's going to be pretty far forward in most of these team fights, so once they have a bit extra defensive stats. Dandy also going very tank. Looks like a Warmogs might be coming through pretty early here as well, and Rumble, not quite sure what Carry wants to do with the rest of his goal, but has a pretty aggressive start to his build.
Yeah, he certainly does. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a Zhonya's Hourglass come through off that book.
Yep, Amplifying Tome.
Amplifying Tome. Thank you.
That's all right.
Going into the Seeker's Arm Guard right there. So actually has picked up an outright needlessly large rod. So he's a very rich man at this point in the game. And the vision control continues. Green wards, pink wards coming out across the board.
Yeah, and it's reflected in the gold we just saw there briefly. But even just in the CS values between these solo laners, we've got basically 20 up for Carry, 20 up, or 20 to 25, sorry, up for Hatong. And the bottom lane is a bit of a train wreck, unfortunately, for Crystal this time around. He's behind almost 60 CS there.
Yeah, and Vasily, once again, being able to shut someone completely out of the game. So Mata has to be credited to this, but Vasily, fantastic game. He's picked up 4 damage items, now going into a little bit more of a defensive build. Got that Null Magic Mantle. And it looks like it might be an actual Last Whisper coming here through from Crystal. Don't agree if that is the pickup, because once again, not much armor built yet.
Yeah, and just really needs the raw damage output to help, do damage. That's his job as an AD carry. But Snake are kind of holding on to a couple of lifelines here. They're farming well. They're clearing waves well. You mentioned that Olaf is very good at clearing waves. Cock was not bad either. And, they can stall reasonably well with this team. But Vici eventually are just going to get onto their Barons, break the base at some point, and Snake are just not going to have enough items to fight once they do eventually get dived.
Yeah, and I think the Zhonyas are really going to tell a point in this game because they can go in there, try and get a lot of upfront damage through from Flandre, but when the Zhonyas go off, the fight just turns completely into Vici's favor. With how big Vasily is, the consistent damage output of this Callista is just going to be bigger than anything Snake can throw at them.
And with Callista maybe seeing a bit more play now in the LPL, and Annie being such a popular support, I feel like this particular duo lane is going to start getting a lot more attention as we move through the rest.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that one, and I really respect the Vi pickup even more because of the fact that Annie Callista is so strong at the moment. Grabbing that just means that there isn't really a jungle answer for it, and you need to look to other lanes. They look to the top with Flandre, but hasn't been able to get any work done.
I mean, that's very creative by Snake. Credit there to them, but it's just a very hard game for them to win, especially when they started falling behind. So Vici are just going to continue to strangle Snake out of vision around this Baron pit. They're very patient here. They know they're so far ahead. They don't really need to worry too much, although Hatong did take a little too much poke.
Yeah, Hatong taking a lot of poke, actually, and more coming through onto Dandy here. He's extremely tanky. Looks like he might actually even go for a Hex Drink, a fantastic item pickup, gold effective on AD alone, let alone throw a shield in there. And actually just finishes up, has a Warmogs as well. So he's an absolute huge beast at this point.
I have to say, there was a surprising amount of damage done to the tank there. So you can see that if Morgana hits a bind onto a key target or gets her ulti on a lot of people, then she does do quite a lot of damage.
Oh, definitely. And about to tick over to level 16 means that Soul Shackle will be as strong as it will be at any point in the game. You throw in the fact that he's got all of that MR shred coming out. He's in a good position right now. It really depends on execution here. I guess this is the point in the game where Vici, they're ahead. It means that they can make more mistakes. However, if Snake play these fights flawlessly, they still can come out like on top. So I guess it's a really interesting point in the game. Vici afforded the luxury of being able to make 1 or 2 mistakes. Snake really need to play the rest of this game perfectly, but they're not out of it by any stretch of the imagination.
No, Snake again have done very well to sort of turtle the game to this point. Yeah, Crystal does have 3 damage items now. Went for, I guess, the cost of Fission last week, so I know it's not your favorite thing here in this build, but at least it will give him some semblance of damage, especially against how tanky Dandy is.
Yeah, it certainly will. We'll be getting people close to, I guess, nearly true damage coming through. I think that with the fact that his W does so much mixed damage, it is good to just get those crits in there. But I understand why he went for the build as gold efficient as possible. Wants to make sure that the game doesn't accelerate to the point where people have armor and he doesn't have the option to go the Last Whisper just because he's been completely shut out. So understandable build path, if a little bit conservative.
Yeah, Bucker is looking to shop here as well. Does go back here and get himself a Void Staff completed straight up. He had about 2,500 gold almost ready to go. And that's a big item spike here for Azir as well. So for Snake, they've turtled up for long enough here. They're only a dragon behind here. Vasily looking to take the 3rd for his team very easily on this Kalista. But Snake, it's not do or die territory yet for the Dragons.
Yeah, it certainly isn't. And we see that Vasily able to take that one away. But what it has meant is that Snake able to use that time to take a peek into the Dragon area and set up a couple of wards. And sending Hatong continually to split push, sure, it's going to power this Lissandra up. He's getting a lot of free farm. But he doesn't have that teleport, so if they pull the trigger quickly or catch someone out with a binding, that is a lot of gold sitting in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and we talk about this a lot in later game scenarios, especially when a team's defending, but sidewave control is so important, and Snake seem to have found their rhythm again with sidewaves and minions. They were known for it back in the LPL, and this game especially have done a very good job of keeping them up.
Yeah, they certainly have, especially when you throw in the fact that they haven't taken out 2 of the outer turrets, and it's so hard to control sidewaves with outer turrets up, just because if you push them back slowly, they hit the turret a lot quicker and then they rebound really quick. So Ella's been caught.
Yeah, Ella's going to get dunked here. Mata going in as well. Jana nowhere else to go. Does flash out. The Tornado just tags Dandy. Now Crystal could be in trouble as well. Has to be very careful, but a good cut off there by the rest of Snake here. Dandy getting attacked by Crystal. Getting so low there by the Kog'Maw. The last ulti will miss, but Mata is going in a bit too deep. That's a good equalizer, but Flandre going to get that next kill. Hatong, though, is coming in at Crystal. Rhino does get W'd up. Ulti there as well. Ella trying to protect him. He flashes out. He might just live here. Bucker coming in for damage. That was an amazing ulti back, but Hatong does get the next ulti. Vasily flashing in. Gets the triple now as well. Carry coming in. Barker is dead. And that's 5-0 for Vici.
Yeah, but shutdown gold coming over in Crystal in the end. It went pretty horribly. 5-3 coming through in the end. They'll lose a turret for it in the top lane as well. But probably the best it could have gone. They performed admirably throughout that team fight. Just too much of an advantage in Vici's favor.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If the goal was a little closer, Snake would be feeling much better about their Kog'Maw comp, but they've fallen very far behind. 3,000 gold left on Vasily, 1,600 on Dandy, and 1,000 on Carry. Vici have big shopping trips to make here, and they're 10,000 gold ahead.
Yeah, they certainly are rolling now. An outright Last Whisper being picked up, and that's going to mean that Beast is completely ineffective against this Kalista. Will be able to shred him so quickly. And Dandy's build is so optimal for this team comp. A lot of MR. That's going to actually mitigate a lot of Kog'Maw's damage as well at this point in the game. The Ninja Tabi coming through, getting some armor through, and the auto attack reduction. I really like it coming through. Mata needs to be careful, however.
Yeah, he's actually found Beast here, but Dandy's found him as well. Ola reasonably tanky at this point, but has to be careful. Hasn't popped the ulti yet. Will not get stunned up here, and they might turn it around. Buck is in the area as well, but the rest of Vici rotating a bit faster. Dandy getting chunked pretty low there. The Baron gets aggroed as well, so Dandy now going to take that damage as well. And Snake, again, continuing to defend well.
Yeah, they're very... Oh, wow.
Never mind, Vasily has found the rest of them. Just solos out Beast.
Yeah, we mentioned that Beast would melt to Vasily. Vasily catches him out and 3 auto attacks and a Ren able to do the trick. I was going to say, they managed to eke little benefits because they chunked Dandy out there, and that meant that the Baron wasn't going to go against them. Dandy would have been able to tank that up with full health relatively easy, but now that they've lost their jungle, Baron becomes a very serious threat.
Yeah, Dandy running back though quickly as well, and you're right, Beast is dead here, so Snake are going to have to try and defend some way. Mata zoning him out from the top as well. Baron already very low. Kalista can pick this up pretty simply as well. That's an amazing equalizer. Flandre going to get chunked out there as well. Baka going in. He did steal the Baron. Knocks them out with the ulti as well. And now Dandy has jumped on the Ella, but Crystal is firing away on this Kog'Maw. Going to get that kill. And it's 2 for 1 there. And the Baron for Snake. Etongno looking low. Does take up Flandre as well.
Yeah, it looks like Flandre's fall. Ella has managed to survive somehow. And the flashing health bars on Vici's side with a 10,000 gold advantage. Still losing out on the Baron with the Kalista and managing to pull something out of the hat that will be able to stall for even longer. And this Kog'Maw is starting to do some damage.
Yeah, Crystal's not a joke anymore. Dandy really felt that damage coming through. And what a steal from Baka to keep Snake in this game. They've been on life support for about 20 minutes or so. But Snake are holding on against Vici.
Yeah, for dear life. And they're just so good at trying to get any advantage out of nothing. They're able to get in there, really impact team fights with the resources they have. I love the greedy build out of Baka, and the push down mid lane means that they're going to close the gap in gold.
Yeah, bit of space there now opened up as well. Crystal got some gold to spend. That empowered Baron recall going to help a ton there, and 2,000 gold in the bank for Crystal to spend. What does he want to buy? It's a BF sword. Infinity Edge is coming, Spawn.
Yeah, it certainly is. He needs a little bit more to get there, and I have confidence if he does that the Protect the Crystal comp will be in full effect. A 5-item Kog'Maw is nothing to scoff at. And even though on the other side of the rift, Vasili's nearly finished his build, Kog'Maw is still the premier late game AD carry.
Yeah, hop all you like, Vasily. You're not dodging the Bio Hakeem Barrage Kog'Maw with 5 items. So Vici on a bit of a time, and our Snake have done very well to get themselves to this spot. And we've seen this from Snake before. They are good at stalling out games, and they love to team fight. That's probably their biggest strength as a team. This happened before where I think Flandre on Cassidy in a game. They went in so many times but eventually lost, but they've played much more carefully in this game.
They certainly have, and we mentioned in the start of this game how Vici had committed to the mid game. No Rabadon's Death Cap being picked up is absolutely huge. On the other side of the rift, Baka will start shredding people. This game will get to a point where Crystal will be able to two-shot the 2 AP carries, and because they haven't got the threat to respond, he really is much safer than he currently looks with that Mikhail.
Yes, Snake doing a good job of getting the Scuttle Crab as well. The next dragon is up, and that will be the 4th for Vici. That's maybe their saving grace in this game, that 5th dragon, and of course they need the 4th to get there. So this next dragon going to be very, very important for both of these teams, and Snake might just have enough to contest now.
Yeah, they need to make sure on Vici's side that they don't go too early. They need to make sure carries in there. I don't think teleport's a good option at this point. Just group up, don't get picked off and try and take the dragon, but Snakes beat them to the area, may look to take it away.
Yeah, Pinkwood up as well. Snake going to ward themselves up, and this dragon will melt to the damage that Snake have here. They pulled it out. Dandy looking for a flank, though. Beat's going to chase him out. He does not want him on top of that Kog'Maw, and Dandy, he's trying to go back in, but Flandre now with Vasily and the rest of them going to try and flick out. They have to be so careful around this pick. Carry moving in as well. That's a good tornado from Ella to disengage. Dandy actually in trouble there as Beast going to go in on top. Baka trying to find a better spot. Tonglo ults him, but a great ult back there from Azir. Now Beast running around the side. Baka going to go back in, but he looks like he gets shredded. Ella with a decent ulti, but Crystal's killed Kalista. That's an important one, but Crystal's dead as well, and Vici might have just done it.
Yeah, how did they manage to turn that on 2 different fronts? Really poor positioning out of Flandre and Crystal. Got caught over the wall. Team split up completely. Vici run away with a fight, 2 for 1.
Flandre here as well. Carry, though, could go in. He does have a zombies, but Flandre, I think it's on cooldown. He might be able to use it late. Flandre going back in. Dandy does go in there, but the zombies pop for Flandre. Just going to delay his death. Does go down to her tongue, and Vici going to claim their 4th dragon.
Yeah, 3 for 1 in the end. 4th dragon up, really nicely played from Vici, able to split the team fight up, an overcommitment onto the very tanky Dandy there, and they're able to run away with it.
Yeah, and Snake just were too scared of Tong's initiation and Carry's ultimate as well. Split themselves off through the jungle and didn't want to fight, so Snake, for all the ground they gained in this game, they'll buy themselves some time, but that's about all they've gotten.
Yeah, they certainly have, and now there's a 6-minute time limit on this game. If they're able to stall out for the 6 minutes, nothing else goes wrong, that's an Infinity Edge now picked up for Crystal. There'll be a death cap coming out of Flandre, you would think, any moment now. So they have some tools, 6 minutes away, but that all-important 5-minute, that 5th dragon timer really has started now.
And as a reminder as well, Snake only have the one, just the one dragon. they're a long ways away from contesting for their 5th dragon, and Baron's going to be back up soon as well. So Snake, their base is relatively intact, but they have to play. They've had to play perfectly before and managed to afford themselves one mistake with a great team fight, but they don't have very many mistakes left in this game.
Yeah, they certainly don't, but
Crystal,
wow!
that damage on the carry is insane! Does get the kill there to secure the red buff, and Dandy runs all the way out of the jungle.
And I said he would 3-shot people. That was 3 auto attacks and a Bio Arcane Barrage coming through. Crystal with 5 damage items is an absolute monster with Ella's shield.
And we've seen this story so many times from Snake. Can they protect the hyper carry Crystal in what would be one of the most absurd wins for Snake in the LPL? They're still very far behind, and this game is on a timer, but Snake, they're doing almost everything they can to keep themselves in this game.
And every single time I see a late game Kog'Maw, all I can think about is CLG EU and how well they used to use it to siege. And this Kog'Maw, now with the QSS, as well as the Mikhails coming through, is extremely safe. I can't, I guess, stress that enough. There's not much that can really delete him off the map.
Yeah, and Vici just kind of have to play with their engage comp, but Snake have good tools to protect the Cog still. It'd be crazy to me to win through Lissandra and Vi and Annie in this game with Kalista as well, but Snake are going to make a run for it. Baron up in a minute. Snake are getting aggressive with their vision now.
Yeah, they certainly are moving forward. Dandy caught on the wrong side of the map. I think that he is probably the most crucial member at this point in the game because he is the one, as you mentioned, needs to get onto the Kog'Maw, needs to soak a lot of these ultimates. If he can do that, they're in a great position. If Flandre gets onto the back line and Crystal is able to be unharassed, in a team fight going forward, Snake are potent at this point.
Yeah, I don't know if Vici have enough Zhonya's for it to matter either, and Snake are maybe looking to go in here. Dandy was popping his way down bottom. Crystal has to be careful, but Black Shield's going to keep him safe. Beast, though, does go down there, and that's not good news at all for Snake.
Yeah, it certainly isn't. Once again, wow, good equalizer.
That was a sick ulti there from Rumble. Snake will run away, but Vici might just plug all the way through the middle of the base.
Yeah, that's what they used it for, completely zoning. Dandy tanky enough to be able to tank up a couple of shots, and they'll take down the first inhibitor of the game.
Yeah, this inhib's going to melt. Vasily destroys that first turret. Carry almost gets caught by a binding there, and Snake, nothing they can do to defend that structure. Baron up in 10 seconds now without Beast.
Yeah, and that's just a mistake out of Beast once again going too hard. That is a completed item. Kalista, he's going to completely destroy you. Just avoid him until Flandre can get in there with the Zhonya's Hourglass and make something happen.
Baka going to poke now onto her tongue, but Baka might be able to steal the Baron again. Yeah, he's actually scrying orbed it up, and Vici don't want to do it again. Vasily got caught by a binding, I think. Flandre did a good amount of damage. He's popped the Black Shield onto himself. Master going in onto Flandre. Flandre caught Zhonya's in time, and Crystal now is caught in no man's land. Dandy wants to ult him so bad. Look at how many members of Vici want to kill this little Kog'Maw. Dandy rides his way in over the top. Crystal gets obliterated, and that might just be game for Vici.
Yeah, it looks like it will be game. If Flandre had been able to get the Zhonyas off, that would have been absolutely huge. But in the end, Vici, too good, controlled the game from start to finish and looking to push into the base.
Yeah, Flandre didn't have ulti for that last section either, so now Vici going to continue to take structures here. Snake going to be left with their base in ruin, and I might just be dead here as well. They'll back off a little bit, wanting to play safe with people respawning, but Vici can just kind of maybe chill out a bit.
Yeah, I don't know why Vici actually backed away from there. Not really much threat. They took away the top laner and the AD carry. They had a much superior play there to make. Choose in the end to not do it, maybe respecting the Azir a little bit too much, and instead choosing to take away a Baron, play this one slow.
This might be very dangerous though. Beast is back up here and he does have his smite. Ellis here and Azir can do decent damage over the pit. Now Tom going in. Beast has already dived into the backline. They will get the Baron. Baka tries to steal it again, but he's forced to flash out. Now Vasily and Dandy going to find him, and that's another kill for Vici. And betting him in might be enough. A good 3-man NATO there, but Beast gets locked up by the ulti without the ulti for himself. Does go down for the double, and that should be game.
Yeah, that now looks like it will be game, pushing through. Vasily just way too big. 13-8, 6-item Kalista. He's been there for a while now, and they won't be able to push these creeps off the turrets.
Well, Flandre has ulti and Zhonya's, and Crystal's back here with Ella, so if any miracle to happen here, a good ulti coming down to Tom, going in the back like Crystal, trying to shred through people. Flandre's killed Kalista. Now Dandy diving in the back, but Crystal's got a back up. The double has come through from Morgana, and Snake might just hold their base for a little while longer. Dandy going to get deleted by this Kog'Maw damage, and Snake, they're not dead yet.
How do they do it? Able to dive a Morgana is a horrible idea. Just attack the turret, boys. Flandre goes so deep in there, able to get a fantastic ultimate off. Doesn't forget to use the Zhonyas this time around. And Crystal, now he's 6 items coming through. He's going to be able to transform that Mercurial Scimitar any moment now. And the game right back to where we started 5 minutes ago. Who's going to win?
Baka just finished a Zephyr as well, so this Azir is also massive, and we've seen more and more the power of late game Azir. We had a 50-minute game last game. This one's getting very close.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we have a replay of what happens there. Flandre actually flashes into the fight and gets a perfect Soul Satchel, melts absolutely everyone. And Crystal, we mentioned if he doesn't die, his persistent damage is just so good. Able to clear out the super creeps halfway through as well, and it looks like they're actually managing to steal away the dragon, prevents the 5th.
It does prevent the 5th, which is really important. Snake by themselves, another 6 minutes in this game, and they did a lot with that last 6 minutes. We'll see what they can do with the next 6. Baron is down on a lot of members from Vici as well. Snake don't have much of a base left, but they at least have both their Nexus turrets and their top inhib.
Yeah, and if we saw anything from the last series, is as long as you can keep pushing these minions out, you farm up so quickly. I'm hoping that Baka realizes that the tenacity doesn't stack multiplicably on his items and actually picks up some Sork boots for himself. But he's 6 items. In the top lane, Flandre, he's nearly 6 items. The only person that really needs gold at this point is Beast. Even the supports are nearly at 6 items.
You know what? I actually love what Beast has done with this game as well. He's sort of been like, well, I'm not really very tanky, and I'm not ever going to not die to Vasily, so I'm just going to build support items from the jungle.
Yeah, he certainly has, and he's going the intimidation factor. He pops his ultimate, runs at him, and then just runs away because he's very, very scared, but he's just trying to play the bluff. I get, wow, Bloodthirster actually being traded out here for Crystal, so...
That's without Last Whisper.
Yeah,
that's
no Last
really
Whisper.
smart.
I like this now. This is a very good build coming through from Crystal. He's, once again, extremely safe. Got that shield going through, going to shred minions and shred players just as easily.
Nice Aegis, Dandy. That's not going to help you there at all against the Kog'Maw Bloodthirster. So very smart buy there from Crystal, and Snake still holding on here. Vici don't need much to win the game, but they do need to win it. And Snake have held on for 25, 30 minutes at this point. How much longer can they hold on, Spawn?
Oh, wow. And Crystal getting so aggressive actually takes a spear to the head. So that's going to deter him for a while. But he's... ability to clear out minions will mean that it is extremely difficult to use these 2 downs inhibitors to your favor.
And he's so safe as well. And that Bloodthirster shield also adds a big layer of safety. Vasily almost got caught by a binding there for Flandre. And Snake are aggressively moving Vici out of their base. Even a Sun turret being put up now by Baka for some defense.
Yeah, that's a really good move from Baka there. Not using it in the offlane. Looks like they want to go into fight, though.
Yeah, bought a little bit of time. Baka clearing out minions in the bottom. The inhib getting low, though. Will Snake defend it? They might want to go in. Carry's running away, and Vici routed out of the base. Carry gets smited. Does dodge the next cube, but can't dodge the other one. And Snake want to go in so bad here. Dandy going back in there. Flandre trying to pop the ulti. Crystal in the backline. Amazing ultimate by Azir. And Crystal's got so much space, but Vasily does kill Flandre, and that's 2 free kills for Vici.
Yeah, over aggression. Vasily got chunked, but he has that much life steal, able to get back in there. That will mean, that will probably mean the game right now. Vasily able to survive that one, but if Crystal can, anyone can hold on, probably Crystal can.
He's so beast right now, this Kog'Maw, but the towers are being lost. Mata going in, Hetong in the top as well. Can they defend Crystal? The ulti gets popped there by Lissandra to keep her safe, but Hetong gonna get low. He's gonna lose the GA carry, trying to get the last towers, but he can't do it, and Beast and Crystal just going in. Hetong goes down as well. 4 for 2 there, the trade by Snake. They hold on again.
This is absolutely insane. How many times are Vici going to overcommit for champions when all they need to do is hit turrets?
Well, apparently 2, and right, that's the answer to that question at this point in the game. Snake, by the way, are down so many turrets still, and let's see a replay.
Yeah, so once again, instead of hitting turrets, they commit onto the AD carry and get completely destroyed. Crystal, if he doesn't die to the combo, will just chase anyone off. He's so strong at this point in the game, able to rip through everyone with the help of Beast this time. Very well played.
This is really aggressive by Snake as well. This is dangerous. 40 seconds left on Hetong, 30 on Vasily. There's actually very long death timers in this game. Snake are going to get some damage done at least.
Yeah, they will get an inhibitor for this, but Danny won't be able to push them off. Teleport actually coming through. They're looking to maybe win the game.
This would be insane. Snake are trying something here. Beast tanked up the first turret. This inhib's going to go down. 20 seconds left on Hetong. Vasily up in 10. Dandy's got to be careful. Snake are going in. Ella taking up the turrets. Beast low on health, trying to go in as well. Dandy, they're getting ignored. Snake, no, they have to try and win the game. Crystal going to try and knock out the rest of the next turret, but Dandy will lock him up for a while. Vasili's back now as well. Crystal has to be so careful. The Black Shield is not enough, but he's going in. He's trying to backdoor the game, and he can't quite do it. Ella goes down, and that might be game Vici.
Yeah, that certainly looks like now it will be game Vici. Teleport coming in, but keep an eye on that Azir because he wants to go in the base.
Oh, Barker, he tried the backdoor, but he can't make it back in his base. In time, Carry might be able to win the game for his team, and Barker has been found out. That's too many members of Vici. Barker ulting back in, Carry trying to take out the base. Barker looking to go and get stunned by Mata, trying to do the damage, but Dandy follows in. Carry will finish the game by Vici, but what on earth was that?
2 games in a row, Rumble soloing out Nexuses. What a game coming out for Vici. Good fight back for Snake, but in the end, not enough.
Welcome to the LPL, if you're just joining us, where Crystal goes massive and doesn't win the game, and Rumble solo Nexuses.
Yeah, exactly right. What a game. That had everything. You probably couldn't have written a movie better than that. From a terrific early game, great map movements, but in the end, Snake looked like they nearly had it. They went so deep on that Nexus push and just couldn't get over the line.
And it was nice to see a bit more control from Snake. They fell too far behind, and they don't want to do that again. But the fact that they kept relatively controlled and played to their win conditions shows that this is a team that's looking to be on top.
Yeah, they're tactically very good. I think we have a replay, so we'll jump straight into
We don't have a replay. You know why? Because we don't need one. That game, we'd have to replay the whole game if we wanted to replay at this point.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Well, we're going to give everyone a break, and you guys are home too. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with game 2 between Vici and Snake.